Should I
What can I do when I'm stuck inside you? This cell of ice and fire, what blood red death, lost in desire, smell of life.
Surprise, suckers! It's Monday night. Monday night at like 10 something, I think. I don't even know. What time is it? I don't know.
10:11.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I can count too. So, yeah, I'm on tonight. No Rick, but I got Sean Siffel with us, a longtime friend of mine, gaming buddy, which is why I brought him on tonight to talk about the funeral for the Friday the 13th video game. Tomorrow night, after midnight, the servers will be shut down forever.
It's very sad.
It is. It's a sad day. It's bittersweet, though. A lot of good times with that game. A lot of good times with that game. A lot of good memories with that game.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about just briefly tonight is, man, we played the shit out of that game.
I mean, I'm on my PlayStation right now. Let me see how many hours it says I have into that game.
I forgot to tell you that now.
Yeah, let me see here.
I haven't logged into my
I feel like it should
PlayStation.
be more, but 619 hours.
Maybe, is that just since you got PS5?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. You know
'Cause
what? I'd have to check on. So my PlayStation 4 is up in my son's room now. I'd have to
Yeah.
go on there and see if it says the same number.
Because I feel like that's low. I feel like we did
Yeah.
that in a summer.
Yeah. That could be just
When did
PS5.
did this thing come out in 17 or 18?
I think it was 17.
I think it was May.
May of 17.
Yeah. Because that would be almost 8 years. Yeah.
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 I still remember the first night.
Oh, I do too. I didn't get the game. Well, my first night. I got it. It was like the second or third night is when I bought it. I didn't get it on.
Yeah. I don't think I got it release night either. I didn't back it either.
No, neither did I, man. Neither did I. And a mutual friend of ours actually talked me out of doing it. One that lives close to me, and I won't say his name, but I'll just say he lives close to me. So, and goes to Disney sometimes. He actually talked me out of backing it. He's like, the game will never come out. Oops.
Yeah.
Man, and if I would have just backed it 10 times, I would have had 9 extra Savini Jason skins. And let's see, my math says I would have had about $87 million.
Right. Yeah. I remember people were selling those skins.
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, especially early. They were legit going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And
I remember it was pretty. I also thought like early on it was like a shock when you actually saw Savini Jason in a match.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're seeing them constantly.
Wasn't there some kind of scandal where and it wasn't one of the big guys or anything, but it was like one of the lowly employees got caught like selling codes online?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So a lot of good memories with this game, but this game didn't come with pains in the asses, and that's one of them. That's a minor one, I guess, but I didn't make like lists, but I always have my top 5 and bottom 5 things. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to bring up some negatives too. And the thing that irked me the most about this game, and I loved it early, I did, but before they had dedicated servers, whenever the host would quit a match, the match would drop.
Yep.
That was the biggest pain in the dick of all time.
and it's been back to that for a while now too.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. I think it's been like 2-3 years since they dropped the
Yeah, a
dedicated
couple
server.
years since they dropped the dedicated server.
Yeah, I played this again within, I want to say it was like back in October, early November. I was playing it again for a while with a couple friends, playing some all-nighters again.
I picked it up briefly at the end of last year for the first time in a while, but unfortunately, I was one of the ones that fell victim to losing all their stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, and for me, all the time that I put into this game, losing all my perks like that, and all the XP, CP, whatever CP, and I
Well,
had hundreds of thousands, if not a million CP. I lost it all.
so I'm trying to think now. So, because when I went on, there's no more CP. There was no more CP for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave everybody all the legendary perks.
Oh, okay.
So I think that you have to go back and check. So you shouldn't have lost anything, actually.
I did, and I guess there was a fix that came later, but I was just so turned off by losing all that stuff that I'd had for years.
Yeah, because everything
Lost all my badges too.
Oh, if you lost it, yeah, then that was definitely something. Because I still have all my badges. I still never finished some of my badges. Actually, there was like
Really?
there was 3 that I didn't finish.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, there was about 3 of them that I didn't finish. There was one Jason one, and I think it was 2 counselor ones that I didn't get.
I'm surprised we didn't just spam those for you back when we used to marathon this game.
Yeah, one of them was boat escapes, getting out on the boat. I was like just under 113, I think.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then,
That was more my way to get out stealthy.
Yeah. And
You were more of a Vanessa. I was more of a Deborah.
But I do remember the nights that we were all Chad in the Speedos.
May of 2017 is when the game came out. That's where I think Rick just asked.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I didn't have the comments pulled up.
Yeah. Now, I remember the very first match I played of this real quick. I died in 30 seconds. I spawned inside the big house, the main cabin of Packanack.
It's the littest.
Which I didn't, yes, very good. Which I didn't know at the time was a bad place to spawn, especially early in the game's cycle, which is like the second or third day. And Sackhead Jason came in there and grabbed me and slammed my head in an environmental kill against one of the game tables. And that's how my first match went. I was dead in 30 seconds, but I thought it was really cool, the spectating feature in this game.
Yeah.
It actually made it still interesting to watch and root for Jason or the counselors or whatever. And you could scroll, whereas like a racing game, I'll just throw it out there because we play a lot of GTA together. You finish a race and then you just spectate cars driving in a circle. Yeah,
it's just like one camera shot, I think.
Yeah, that's not fun. But spectating counselors running from Jason or Jason going after them is fun as shit.
And if I recall, what was the camera when you're spectating? Was it free roam? You could
you could zoom in and out with the right stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and change the angle too as well, just like you were controlling the player.
Right. Yeah, I just remember early on, remember we could do the trap chains.
Oh yeah. When you could stack the traps.
The traps, yeah. And then I remember there was also, because when you would put, if you were Jason and you morphed to the big house at Packanack, you always ended up, if you did it to the back of the house, he always landed in the same spot, no matter where. And we used to put the trap there, so when he morphed there, he'd morph right into the trap.
We learned that from Pappas.
Oh man, Pappas, that guy was so much fun to watch.
One of the most legendary streamers of this game ever.
Absolute troll.
And that's the thing, though. The dude wasn't even hacking. He was just so good at the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was just just like this trash talk to the Jasons was always so good.
Yeah, and that Russian dialect or whatever.
Fuck you, Jason.
Yeah, that guy was great, man. And he released that whole 2-hour manifesto about the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
I watched every minute of that.
He had a whiteboard and he's drawing on it. Shit.
He did. He had the cool sunglasses and the hoodie and all. I thought he was making a diagram to make a pipe bomb or something.
Right.
But no, he was like dissecting the game on the whiteboard. But no, that was great, man. Just so much cool shit. Like when this game first came out, I had my doubts about the replayability of it, but oh boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
And I think one of the great things about this game is that you could just pick up and play it anytime.
Right.
You know, especially once you have the controls down, you know what all the characters do. There's no need to be in the mood for it. You just pick it up and play it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to like see how we progressed like as the years went on, like where we would get to the point where we could run him around for like 20 minutes. Well, not 20 minutes, but run him around for like the last 10 minutes or so, cabin to cabin, setting up the cabins, getting annoyed at people who wouldn't open all the windows and they're not locking the damn doors.
Or the worst is when you get the keys and you go by the car and you don't drop them. You run away with them.
Right.
Just leave them there. Unless you're like, that was my cardinal thing. If you have the keys and you're near a car, if you're not going to get in and start it, drop them there. Leave them.
Yeah. I think the thing that one of the things I liked the most about it was that each Jason, obviously you have different kills, but you had each Jason had a different set of knives. They had a different number of traps. So you couldn't play each Jason exactly the same.
No.
Yeah, like part four Jason, I believe you only had 3 traps.
He did. And he had that really kind of mediocre shift.
Yeah.
But he could
destroy stuff quick.
He could, yeah. He had that, the destruction, and he could morph quickly, and he ran.
Right.
And that's the part 2 also, could morph quick and run.
Yeah, and part 3 could run. And then
and 5, of course, Roy.
And 5, yeah.
And me personally, fuck it, we'll get into it now. I think like overall, I think the part 5 Jason was my favorite one to play with. Like overall, I think he had the most balanced set of abilities.
Yeah, and the hedge clippers were a pretty cool weapon too.
Yeah.
Some cool kills with that. And you can't forget, I have a video I made. I'm sure you remember it. I made a video of one of my playthroughs as Jason as part 5, and I put it to his eyes. Pseudo
Oh
Echo.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
great song.
I have a few uploads on Facebook of matches and little things I did too. You're in a lot of them, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I need to bust out my old PS4. And I know I still have like full matches like saved on the hard drive. I need to like upload some of those.
Yeah, I had a lot of screenshots on my PS4 that I had saved. Probably some videos too. Cooperation Alliance.
I agree with you. It really is. I think at first it was heavily balanced towards Jason until people learned how to play the game.
Yeah.
But once, like a few weeks, a month into the game's life cycle, it was pretty balanced. And I honestly want to say, though, once they put that major patch out, I feel like it was balanced slightly more towards the counselors because of people were so experienced.
Yeah.
I'm glad they took that trap stacking out, though, because there was pretty much no way to call the cops when you could traps. I think maybe once ever did the cops get called on me as Jason when I could stack the trap still until they took that out.
Yeah.
I think it was like once, and it was probably you and Chris fucking trolling me.
Yeah, he was another fun one to play with.
Oh yeah, he was such a good Jason, man.
Yeah, his La Chapa impression.
Oh, come on, guys! Yeah.
Jason's real. Oh.
I miss that dude, man. I gotta send him a text, man.
Is that a person?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time.
He's on the Discord, but he doesn't post. He doesn't chat.
Yeah, I used to stay up really late back in my still drinking days.
And he's the only one out of all of us that played that got the platinum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even get 500 matches as Jason, so let alone I'm not getting 1,000.
I got that a long time ago, man, but I don't know where I am for the 1,000. I'm probably 950. I'm probably just gonna miss it. That's the only trophy I've needed for 5 years. You know,
it's the only 2 that I need.
Yeah,
and that was obviously not going to happen now.
No.
unless they somehow tweaked it to where, they could do something where they could tweak it to where you could get it by playing offline now, offline bots or something. That would be nice.
I still don't think I would grind that out against offline
No.
bots. I'd be bored quick.
No.
So
I've done some offline bots.
Who was your favorite Jason to play with?
I always tended to like the running Jasons the most.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably just say part 4 just because he was my favorite overall. He is my favorite overall.
He's my favorite real Jason.
Yeah.
There's Rick. Yeah, he's not a hardcore gamer.
I mean, when I played as a walking Jason, I did like part 8 because he had the destruction also. He had that cool kill with the axe. He throws it right at their forehead.
I think out of the non-running Jasons, I probably like 8 or 9 the best. And one of my favorite kills is the part 9 kill, the peel of grapefruit.
Yeah.
He sticks his axe in and slowly pushes the head down. I love that one.
The thing I hated with that kill, though, is because I felt like a lot of times when I did that kill, there's a car going off, there's the boat going off. You got nothing you can do about it.
Because it was a long cinematic.
Yeah.
It was a good 20 seconds, And it doesn't seem like a long time, but anybody that's a veteran of this game knows in 20 seconds, a lot can happen. In this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you could start the boat and be out in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, also, too, because, unless he morphs to a good spot in the water, a part 9 sucks in the water.
Yeah.
Part 7 was the only good one in the water anyway.
8 was good in the water, too.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah,
I remember 7 was always quick.
7 was incredible in the water, but that was just about the only thing he was good at.
Except for all he looked badass.
Oh, of course. But he was my least favorite to play with. Was 7. And out of the running Jasons, I think 3 was my least favorite.
Yeah, I think I would probably say 7 and 9 were probably the ones that I used the least.
7 was definitely one I used the least, well, on purpose. I've had my stuff set on random for years.
I had
Jason.
I know I used to use part 2 a lot because he had like 7 traps.
Yep, 7.
Yeah.
He's the only one. And he morphs quick too, so he was like really good at controlling the objectives.
Yeah.
Only thing with him though is he wasn't good in combat.
No. Yeah, he got stunned pretty easily. He was stunned for a while too.
It was easy to get his mask off.
Yeah.
That was the one real weakness of part 5. He wasn't built for fighting, which makes sense because he's not really Jason.
Right.
But I thought he was so well-rounded at everything else. And unless you're in a room full of very experienced players, they're not going to start trying to kill you right at the beginning of the game.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd say 5 was my favorite to use and 7 was my least. That's the way I would have it.
Yeah.
Now, on the counselor side, AJ was my girl at the beginning of the game, but then I gravitated more towards Deborah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we were doing Deborah for a while.
Yeah, I just like to fix shit. I feel like I was productive. And being Vanessa is productive too. You're chasing his ass around, keeping him busy while I'm fixing shit.
Yeah, LaChapa was great at repair. Yeah, Deborah. Who was it? Adam wasn't too bad. Palomino.
No,
he was okay. But I feel like Chad was just he was so much fun to just screw around.
He existed to troll, and that was it.
So my absolute 100% favorite memory playing this game is that night. It was me, you, it was Chris, and I think Coffee was with us too.
Yeah,
we were all dressed in cheetah speedos.
Kevin was on too.
Yeah. So I think it was all of us.
All of us, yeah.
And that Jason, we just kept hitting him with the bat. And remember, he didn't get up. He just laid there, and we were just doing the dance. Oh, my God.
And I remember there was a random in there with us. He came back as Tommy and just walked over there and started, like, teabagging him and then just was sitting there like, I don't know what to do. And then he just shoots Jason right in the heart.
But the fact that, like, when Jason would go down, you would spam the button to get him back up. It took forever because the guy obviously was either laughing his ass off or he threw his controller across the room.
I'd lean towards the second.
That's my god.
That's one thing about this game. Like, it was so much fun, and it's just an asymmetrical, multiplayer game. But this game sometimes would. You're no stranger to this, and so was I. Sometimes this game would piss you off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, how the fuck did this guy just stun me 4 times with a bat and it didn't break?
Right, and then you pick somebody up and they whack you. You pick somebody up, they whack you.
Yep.
Oh.
Or, oh my god, he had another knife.
Yeah.
You only have 3 slots, but how did this guy have 4 knives?
I remember one night when I was getting killed as Jason. I was so fucking mad. I don't know if you were on with me that night or not. I remember this one. I was so freaking mad. I felt like I got screwed and then I got killed as Jason.
Yeah.
It didn't happen often, but I've gotten killed as Jason a few times.
No, I got killed a few times myself, but I mean, if they come at me right away, like at the beginning of a match and try to get my mask off or whatever, okay, I respect that. I'm going to play this a different way now.
Yeah.
I would have trapped the shack, like, if I knew that.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I actually, when I was playing with back in November, the few nights that I was playing, I was actually noticing people are playing as people are like we did, like they were teamed up, but what they were doing is it was be like whoever was Jason had a friend that was a counselor, and whoever the friend was would go get the sweater so that nobody could use it.
Yeah.
And it was blatantly obvious with the stuff that they were doing in the match, that they were trying to play games and not let anybody be able to kill them. I remember a few nights too where Jason would hide in the water. It's too pussy.
Oh
to,
yeah.
too pussy to take it.
Had a few of those where they just let the timer run out.
Had a lot. Yeah, definitely did. Yeah, I mean, you could tell they were fans of it. I mean, even the virtual cabin was really cool. Unfortunately, we didn't get Uber Jason, but
right, that would have been great.
That was a sick reveal at the end of that.
Mm-hmm. That Grendel map seemed very interesting too because it was so unique compared to the others.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got Pinehurst and Jarvis House as well. But the small maps, personally, for me, was not a fan of them. I felt like those were balanced heavily towards the counselors, the small maps.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we didn't get what was I gonna say? Oh, we never got Forest Green either as a map.
No, I didn't even know that they were working on that.
No, I was saying I don't think they were. I was just saying that would have been something, another map to give us.
Was a huge fan of Part 6. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool on that one is if, that is Part 6 Tommy that you come back as, but you could have a chance to come back as like Sheriff Garris too. That would have been kind of cool. Like on that map.
Yeah.
Or Deputy Rick Cologne with the laser scope.
Yeah, it's the one thing that would drive me crazy is people that didn't know how to play as Tommy. Like the cops would already be called and they just come and run out instead of helping somebody. Like the whole point is for you to help them get out.
Or the old classic meme, like, this is between us, Jason. Hides in tent for 10 minutes.
Fuck you, Jason.
This is between you and me. Hides in the tent. Hides under a bed.
Even though it was really cheesy in the movie, as much as I like it, it was cheesy. But I still love in the game when you slash Tommy. He's killing me. It's just absolute nonsense.
No, but like, as fun as this game was, it goes a little deeper than that because I feel like that game really rejuvenated the love for not only Friday the 13th, but horror in general in a lot of people in like our age range. And it introduced it to a lot of younger people, which is cool.
Some too young that shouldn't have been playing this game.
Well, that's another story. I think the popularity, though, of the Friday the 13th franchise as a whole was never more popular than when like this game first came out. I feel like that was a really good thing. for the franchise, but then that lawsuit happened and it fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Do you know if those two would have just got along? Do you know how much they could have capitalized on that?
Oh yeah. I mean, they could still be adding stuff to that game to this day.
Oh, it's not even that game. Like, we could have definitely would have been a great time to make another movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this right now, since Rick kind of put that out there. I don't think if that game never comes out, this podcast that you're on right now doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I would be that bold as to say that, because Rick and I have been friends for almost 30 years, but we bonded over other shit, sports, music, beer. Oh, not anymore for me, but but we had plenty of common interest. We both knew we were into horror, but we never really went deep into it together. We had other shit that we'd hang out and do, go to games or concerts, things like that.
Yeah, and
But
most of my conversation with it was with you, because I mean, my wife's not into horror. A lot of some of my friends really aren't. So most of my horror stuff was discussed with you, and usually when we're on party chat.
Yeah, and it was cool talking to like friends of ours a little older, like Kevin, who saw some of these movies in the theater.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I was alive when they all came. I was even alive when the first one came out. Granted, I was just a few months old,
Right.
but I never saw any in the theater until that one.
Yeah.
And that was
Actually,
like 20.
Even though we don't count it, the first Jason movie that I saw was Freddy versus Jason. That was the first one I saw in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw that one.
I think the year I was born was part 5, was 85. So that was part 5.
Yeah. I was born months before part 1 came out. So. But no, it was cool because it revived a lot of people's interest, and also, as I said, taught a lot of young people what it was about, because other than the remake, we really hadn't had a Friday the 13th movie in a long time.
Right.
And it hadn't had a good one in a really long time.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, if it wasn't for this game, there wouldn't have been, Dead by Daylight, Evil Dead, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. Like, none of these asymmetrical horror games would have come out.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
Texas Chainsaw, yeah. I would say Texas Chainsaw is probably. I still put Friday over that.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I will say about Texas Chainsaw, in the little bit that I played it, because I really haven't touched it since last year.
Neither have I.
The one thing I'll say about Texas Chainsaw compared to Friday the 13th is Texas Chainsaw is legitimately scary. Like, you have to legitimately hide, like they're breathing down your neck. Like, it's really intense. Whereas I feel like with this, like, it can still be intense, but it's more like loosey-goosey, easygoing kind of a. You don't really get scared. I mean, you might if he pops up on you out of nowhere, but Texas Chainsaw that can really make you jump at times.
See, another reason I like to use some of the non-running Jasons, especially part 8, was that stalk.
Yeah.
And stalk used right, you could scare the shit out of people. I actually got a video where I got you pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting somebody pretty good too. I think it was a Tommy that I got.
When you morph somewhere when you're already in stalk mode, so it doesn't give that.
Right.
And then you shift grab them out of nowhere, and they're like, "Where did you come from?"
I if I'm not mistaken, I think the one that I did. I don't think I did a shift, but I know I was in stalk and I morphed to a cabin, and I ended up outside the cabin next to a window, and literally as I morphed, Tommy ran the corner and I grabbed him instantly. I probably scared the living crap out of that guy. That was pure luck. Like, I didn't know he was there. I just happened to stalk morph to that cabin, and then he just ran around the corner and I grabbed him.
One of my favorite things to do too is and you don't necessarily have to be in stalk, but it would make it better, is if you're somewhere and you see somebody heading towards like a cabin,
right,
and they open the door to go in it, and you go into shift, and you shift in it but stay in shift till they close the door and lock it behind, and they turn around and you're just there inside. And like,
I had that.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily go to kill them right away. I'm like, oh, they're gonna hop the window now.
Yeah, I had that happen to me a couple times.
Yeah.
Rob, we played on back in the day we played on PS4.
Yeah.
And then some PS5 later when I put it on there.
Yeah, I never owned that one on Xbox or PC.
Yeah, I will say too, like having played Texas Chainsaw and Killer Clowns, like playing a game like an asymmetrical horror game in 60 frames per second does make a big difference too. Because this was not, because it was originally on PS4.
Right.
I mean, it's a little smoother on playing it on the PS5, but
Oh, it is.
this would have been, man, I would love to see if they could have done like an actual PS5 overhaul for this game with 60 frames. Oh man, that'd have been so awesome.
I remember when I first started playing GTA on the PS5.
Oh, that was man.
Oh my god, the frame rate, unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a big jump.
I was just like, yeah, how many times can they make the same game, man? And then I got, holy shit.
Well, I remember go off topic a little bit, but I remember I got GTA 5. I was on PS4, and then when I went to the PS4 Pro, I was like, oh my god, wow, look at the load times. And then I went to PS5, and you're in there like instantly almost. Compared to regular PS4, it took forever to get in the damn match or get into the world, the open world and online.
And the craziest thing is too, is at the end of the day, GTA 5 is a fucking Xbox 360 game.
Yeah, PS3 too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. And it's still going, and it's still on the charts.
Speaking of, like I said, this is a little off topic. My son's been playing Red Dead. He was playing Red Dead Redemption 1 on my PS3, and he's pretty much almost got the platinum on it, but he actually was playing online. There's still people playing Red Dead 1 online on PS3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I'm surprised there's servers for it.
Yeah. I'd be down here on my PS5, and I'm getting like all these random friend requests, and I'm like, what the frick's going on? And then it dawned on me he's playing online. And it's people, because there's not many people doing it. So it's like people are sending friend requests constantly because there's such a small player base for that game. But now I put my PS4 upstairs. Now he's been up there past day playing Red Dead 2.
I'm stunned that they still have servers for PS3.
Yeah, that was what really surprised me, because he's been trying to get the platinum trophy for the whole thing of Red Dead 1. And I was when he first was doing it, I was like, what do you mean? I was like, there's no way you're playing online. He's like, no, there's people in these maps. And I went up there and watched, and there's people running around and they're shooting each other. And I was really surprised.
I had it. Well, not the platinum trophy, but whatever the Xbox 360 version, all the achievements I had for Red Dead 1. It's one of my favorite games. 2, and I know it's a hot take, but Red Dead 2 was a disappointment to me.
Yeah.
Especially the online aspect, because after GTA 5, anything was going to be a letdown.
Yeah.
That's still, I don't care, the greatest online multiplayer game of all time. So
the amount of stuff that they still put out there for that game is just incredible.
And it's funny because this does have something to do with Friday the 13th as well. And I'll segue back to that by this. GTA 5 is the only game I've played more hours of than Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Ever.
And technically, if you remember GTA had that slasher mode for Halloween. I think they still have it in there, but remember that where it was like one person was the killer, the other people had to hide?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
So it was kind of like a mini horror game inside of GTA.
St. John's, Michigan, Jason, Rob Dowell just said we should all play tomorrow. I'll let you know if I have time. I got to work during the day, and we have plans in the evening.
I was thinking about that today. Like, I wonder if there's going to be a big overload tomorrow of people playing because it's the last day.
Probably.
My
nephew's been playing a lot. I was going to have him come on with us for a little bit tonight and talk about the game. He was 5 years old when this game came out.
My son was 5 too.
Wow. And they're the same age. And he used to watch me play this game, and that's what got him into Friday the 13th, was watching Uncle Ryan play this game. And I waited till he was a little older, I think 6 going on 7. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll let you watch one of the movies now. I was younger than you when I saw it. And the first one I showed him was part 4, because I figured if he could handle that, he can handle any of them, because it's like scariest Jason, and he didn't look away once. He loved it, and I created a fucking monster.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
I've taken him to conventions with me. He's met Kane Hodder and got his photo with him, his autograph, and all that stuff. So
yeah.
shit, just for Christmas, one of his, I think it's his aunt on the other side of the family, got him a Friday the 13th shirt. You know, it's yeah. He went straight from Paw Patrol to Jason Voorhees, and it's all my fault.
I do remember you telling me about him being in the Paw Patrol because my son was too.
Yeah. It's the same age, man. So,
oh yeah, what Lance said. Yeah, I was curious about that too. Like if the servers would get overloaded and crash tomorrow with people playing.
Yeah,
that would
what
be
a way to
interesting.
go out. Oh, wait a minute. They won't though because they're not dedicated servers.
Well, I mean, just like in terms of like you know how they would show like the ping and everything. Like if there's so many people, if like the pings are high and it maybe
well, if we had
boosts
enough people,
or,
we could just go in a private match and it won't matter.
yeah, I remember doing that early on too. We would do private matches. Whoever was Jason would leave the party.
Yeah,
I remember, man, we would have 8 people in a party chat
every night. Yeah,
and then whoever was Jason would either they would leave the party.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't. I just. I was thinking about it today, like when I was at work too. I was like just getting a little sad. I was like, man, it's all over tomorrow.
You know, like I said, bittersweet because you know, it's going to be done, and we'll never have nights like we used to playing this game. But I'll cherish those memories forever.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, I wouldn't be on this podcast right now if it wasn't for this game, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
Because I think it was DCS who we just followed. Thomas Cunningham's tomorrow is it's Sean Cunningham's birthday is New Year's Eve.
Was that a was that an intentional? We're gonna kill the servers on his birthday. Fuck
one
you,
last
Sean.
stick it to you. You know, one last thing, because you know on this show, I speak for Rick as well. We are Team Victor Miller over here. So
I was gonna say was that Victor Miller being like, you know what, you kill the servers on his birthday next year.
So yeah, we're definitely Team Victor Miller all the way over here. So
yeah, but I mean, you and I've been gaming since even before Friday the 13th. Because I mean, well, I mean, I've known you. We've been gaming for 10 years now, but I've known you longer than that through Operation Sports.
Mm-hmm. Whoa! He said the name of the place on the thing.
You are banned. You are banned. You are unbanned.
Dude, I haven't even been on that site even to look in probably 6-7 years.
Ugh. I popped on there a couple months ago because I was just looking for something I think it was like a slide. I was looking at like a slider thing for the show or something, and I popped in there. I still see some of them old faces in there, old names in there. I'm like, oh my
god. I'm sure some you're more pleasant to see than others.
I've been banned from that place for like 4 years now, 5 years.
Oh, I'm probably going on 10.
55.
Fucking Texas Rangers, man.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah. Hey, Rugnet Odor, terrible fucking player. Jose Bautista had 2 individual seasons with more WAR in one season than that fucker had in his whole career. But he got sucker punched, so he's awesome.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I definitely I mean,
whoa,
what happened?
This happened to me last week too. That's so crazy. I don't even know.
Yeah, I definitely
there we
100% have a lot of fun memories playing this with you for sure.
Definitely, man. I got to meet cool people playing the game too, and it's weird. I ran in real life like years later in Blairstown at that Friday the 13th convention that we went to. Ran into people that I met playing the game years earlier.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was wild, man. So
I remember the one thing that we didn't talk about either was just the amount of, like, we would always be like when we would see like glitches or people like, you know, kind of gaming the system, kind of like we would be like, how do these people figure this crap out? Like, how do they know how to get up on the roof? How do they know to jump out this window and then they can't be sensed? You know, I remember that one night when you were Jason and you couldn't see anybody with sense because he jumped out that window.
I remember that was a Packanack. It was if you jumped out of the bedroom straight ahead from the front door out that window, you couldn't be seen with sense for the rest of the match.
And I think the main cabin at Higgins Haven was there was a window there too, I think, because I remember.
No, it was Higgins. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Higgins. It wasn't Packanack. It was Higgins.
Yeah, I remember, man. You were losing your mind that you were so pissed. And that was the only guy you wanted to kill the whole night.
Yeah.
I don't care about anybody else. If you want to get out, get out. I'm killing this fucking guy.
Yep. Like, go ahead, start the car. I ain't even coming.
Oh, speaking of the car, remember that night we put all the perks on the car and it was like a freaking race car?
Yeah, and we had our buddy come in. I forget which Jason was it that has the best shift. Was it 9? Has like that excellent
9
shift.
has the longest shift. Yeah.
And he could not keep up with the car. Even with the best shift in the game, could not come close.
And geez, because like when you would turn, you would hit square to do like the drift. And I think because you were going so fast, you almost did like a 360 in the car.
Dude, I thought I was playing Friday the 13th, man, but for a minute we were playing like Burnout.
Right.
Or one of those games. Or like Tokyo Drift if they made a game, you know? Fast and Furious game. Why didn't they make video games for that?
I have no idea.
You know how much money there would have been in that? With the cars? DLC, Dom's car on DLC, dude, they would have made fucking tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
They could have made 10 games too.
Yeah, one for each.
I've still only ever seen the first 2 of those movies.
You got out at the right time.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're not good, but they're fun.
Yeah. I went on the Fast and Furious ride at Universal Studios last year. It's terrible. Awful.
Did you ride the Velocicoaster?
Awful. No, we didn't do Islands of Adventure. We were only at Universal Studios, like the actual studios. But yeah.
That coaster alone, I haven't been on it yet.
Yeah.
It's literally worth the trip to Florida alone.
I mean, I want to go back there soon because I want to go to that Super Nintendo world.
That would be cool.
Built. Yeah.
But Velocicoaster is ranked.
I've heard good things about it.
That was rated the number 2 roller coaster in the world this year.
Yeah.
Number 2. Fury 325 in Carowinds, around the block from where Coffee lives, is number 1.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I will be there springtime.
Nice. Speaking of spring, did I tell you the wife is taking me to spring training for my birthday in March?
No.
Yeah. So 40th birthday in 2 weeks.
Young.
So yeah. So she said
13th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's on Monday the 13th, unfortunately. Yeah, so she said that for my 40th birthday, she said, you know, you've been a baseball fan for so long, you never gone to spring training. She's like, why don't we go down to spring training in March? I'm like, are you fucking serious? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I'll pay for it. I'm like, are you fucking serious? So last night we booked the airfare. We got a great deal. We're flying out of Trenton, New Jersey, which is like 20 minutes away from me, to Tampa, and then back. We're leaving March 6th, coming back March 11th, and the flight for the 2 of us was only $455 total.
Oh, that ain't nothing. And 25 money, you know.
Yeah, but so I went on last night. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave on a Thursday. The Friday we're gonna drive to Bradenton. So we're going to Clearwater. But we're going to drive to Bradenton and go see the Phillies and the Pirates at this Pirates spring training park. I got first row behind the Phillies dugout seats.
Hell yeah.
And then Sunday the 9th, we're going to go see a game in Clearwater, Phillies and the Orioles. And I got 5 rows behind home plate. Yeah. So she's paying for everything else. I'm paying for the game tickets, but she said that she wanted to treat me because it's my 40th. So I was like, hey, if you want to treat me, I'm not going to complain.
That's a perfect gift.
I'll pay for the game. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
And
way to go, Liz.
It's so nice down there. Yeah. So now that means when she's 40.
That's for Liz.
Yeah. So when she's 40 in 2026, I gotta come up with something.
Oh, she's the baby face, and Sean just turned heel by revealing his wife's age on the fucking podcast. That's it.
Which she will never see.
That's true. A good thing I'm a bro, or otherwise I'd be sending a text. Trip canceled.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. So
my girlfriend occasionally sneaks in and watches this show. So hey, look at my friend Sean's birthday gift. My birthday's in like 3 weeks. Need for Speed games.
We'll fix that in post. Yeah, so that's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that a lot. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's freaking gorgeous down there. I love Clearwater.
I don't like Florida.
Well, yeah.
Other than the sports teams.
And the Rays playing in freaking Steinbrenner Field this year.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother topic I don't even want to get into.
Yeah. I am going to be bummed that they're not playing in the Trop because
we're going on almost 3 years with no alcohol in my drinks. But if we start talking about the Rays right now, I might have to revert.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to give a little retrospective on the Friday the 13th game because it really did mean a lot to a lot of people. And it's sad that it's going away, but all the memories we have of it will be ours forever. And I am grateful. And there it is. I'm grateful for all of the memories I have with it, with yourself and other friends. And just in its own way, it opened doors for me later that I didn't even know existed. So.
And I mean, and I learned a lot about the franchise through playing this game and talking to you too.
Yeah. You know, and I like this show as just as much for nights like this where I can just talk to friends of mine. Just as much as like we have fucking Melanie Kinnaman on here, you know, we've had John Dugan on here, legends. And of course,
I will say John Dugan reminds me of Kevin.
Oh, he's so cool, man. He's so fucking cool. And I mean, dude, Ken Sagos, Kincaid himself, gave me my nickname on this show.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Friday the 13th, the game, none of that would ever happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll always have a place right here for that game. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it. If you have anything else you want to get into.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's going to be, I mean, I'm not going to ever delete it off my library. It's going to stay there, but there's going to be, I know there's going to be nights where like I'm scrolling through my games and I'm like, oh, fuck.
If only, right?
I know it's not going to happen, but there's been this little tiny part of me that's like, man, what if tomorrow just blows everything away and they're like, you know what, we're not going to cancel the servers. It's not going to happen, but that would be pretty sweet if they just were like, you know, screw it, we'll leave them up.
So what you're saying is around 11:59 p.m. the governor is going to place a phone call.
Now, see, that's something. Now, here's real quick because I know we're going to go, but imagine like everybody's playing this. So I'm assuming they're going to go off at midnight, January 1st.
Yeah.
People in the middle of a match and it just goes, it's like Sopranos, just black.
Yeah.
Just fades to black.
Yeah. Have your onion rings ready and order some for the table. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to definitely play some of this tomorrow for a little bit. Just one last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, Rick ended up, it was a long, convoluted story, and we've talked about it a lot on this show, but yeah, that's what revitalized our love for this, and the way we bonded through horror was because of this game, getting everybody talking about it again. Then, of course, we went to Blairstown, and also to Camp Novi Bosco, however you say it. And like Rick said earlier, I'll touch back on that real quick. Once you played the game for years and then you actually go to the camp.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible how well they recreated it on a video game.
Yeah, I mean, just even looking at it through the movies, too. It's just...
I'm like, there's the boathouse right there. Like, it's right there in front of me. And, oh, that's the main I get to walk in the cabin?
Did you look for the propeller?
Of course. I couldn't find it. I found some gas though.
Now, see, like that's the other thing too. Like, so, like, I mean, I always like, you know, was into horror and stuff, not maybe not super extreme. I feel like this game got me into it more
Yeah.
than I was, and it got me into Friday the 13th more than I was. If I never had played this game, probably I never would have gone to that convention and got that print and signed all the Jasons to sign it. I would have never have gotten Ted White before he passed away.
Is Steve Dash on there too?
I have Steve
Yeah.
Dash on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me grab it for some people.
Yeah.
It. It's up on the wall here.
Ted White mailed me a mask about a year before he passed away. I was in correspondence with him. It was long before we were doing the show. Oh, I remember when you first got that. I was so jealous, and I still am.
Yeah, so cool. The newest one is I got Ari a couple months ago back, and I think that was back in like June. So there's Ari. Got Steve Dash down here. He always signed the real Jason.
Yep.
There's Ted White right there.
Mm-hmm.
I got Tom Morga. That's a little Tom Morga right there. Ken Kersinger in the middle. CJ Graham down here.
Yeah.
And then Kane Hodder up top.
Of course. It has to be.
So I do still need to get, because he's on here, I would like to get Warrington Gillette at some point.
Do you have Derek Mears on there?
I don't have Derek Mears either. But you know what? I didn't even realize I don't know if it was the same convention, actually, now that I think about it, but there was a Monster Mania that I went to that Derek Mears was there, but I think it was before I did this.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense because it was after you did that. Yeah. You absolutely would have brought it.
Yeah, because I did this all in the same day. They were all there in the same day. Betsy Palmer looks pretty cool. If I'm not mistaken, this is a Scott Jackson print. So I bought this print and then I took it around the convention and had them all sign it.
So fucking cool. And that can never be recreated. Like, since you were able to get Dash and Ted White on there, the only one you'll never have is Brooker.
Brooker and Betsy Palmer and Brooker.
Well, Betsy Palmer wasn't Jason.
Well, I mean, she's still, but the fact that she's on here,
right? That's cool. But I'm talking just strictly Jasons.
Yeah. So the last one for me to get on here would be Warrington Gillette. I mean, I could do Derek Mears too, but
one of my favorite things is my Tom Morga signature.
I have an Inman signature.
Oh, you do? See, and this is a Tom Morga signature on a mask I made.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How many people have that?
When I met, I'll tell you what, Tom Morga was a cool guy because when I got this signed, he actually signed his in black ink right here.
Yeah.
And as I went around, because I think he might have been the first one to sign this, and then as I went around, everybody was signing in silver.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, this looks it doesn't look right now.
Yeah.
So I actually went back to the table later, and he was so nice. I didn't have to pay anything again. I said, would you mind just going over that in silver? He said, yeah, no problem. He just wrote over it in silver. So when you look at it up close, you can kind of see that he went over it. It's not smudged, but you can tell he went over the black with the silver.
See, I don't know where it is, and it's weird because I didn't mention him at all when we talk about the game, but I should have. I have a Harry Manfredini Part 6 signed CD, and he signed it in blue because I like my signatures in blue because I collect baseball cards, and they predominantly sign in blue. You know how it is. You're a baseball guy. And he signed it in blue, but the background of Part 6, Rick was there with me when I got it, is blue, so it didn't look right. And Harry was looking, and he's like, you know what? Let me see that. And he went around it in black. So it's like outlined in black and signed in blue. Like it's a one of a kind. Like he's never signed anything like that before. Now, Harry Manfredini, as we know, or White, yes, did the music for the first 7 Friday the 13th films, and he came back later and did some more. He did all the original music too for the game, and I actually got to have dinner with him in Blairstown, New Jersey. He sat right across from me.
About that.
Oh, and I had a 3-hour conversation with the guy, and it was seriously one of the coolest fucking things, man.
Yeah.
He said that scoring this game was one of the hardest jobs he's ever had because you think about it, there's tons of original music on here.
Yeah.
Like just the level music, and they're all different.
Oh, yeah.
New music, scrolling
ambience music, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, it took way longer than it did to score film. and it did not pay nearly as much. So, but yeah, just wanted to mention that. I totally forgot that. But yeah, all the original music, and who else could do it but him?
Yeah.
To make it fit with obviously his previous scores that are also in the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, every time I look at that picture, man, I'm old. Like my eye always goes to the Ted White autograph because I'm just so thankful I got to meet him before he passed.
yeah, Harry did mention that he was working on some music for another project, and knowing him, he ain't working on anything unless he's getting paid.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to pay him the money it would take to procure his services without being legit. So who knows what they're working on?
Yeah.
Not necessarily Friday the 13th, I guess, because the guy has scored many other films and many other jobs. But that's just what he's primarily known for and makes appearances for still to this day. So, but yeah, just wanted to throw my little Harry Manfredini anecdote out there. Speaking of signatures, like your Tom Morga.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say that I'm not, it's whatever. That's what he had. But so they all signed in Sharpie,
Mm-hmm.
but Ari used like this real thick silver thing. So it really stands out compared to the rest. It's a lot brighter of a signature when you're looking at it compared to the rest of them.
You have something in common with Ari Lehman.
What's up?
You've both done this show.
Ah, yeah, that's right. I remember watching that one.
Yeah, he's the only Jason so far that's done this show.
Yeah.
And Melanie Kinnaman so far is the only final girl to do the show. But we had other not the final girls. But that's our goal now. I was talking to Rick, at least my goal, and I need to start getting off my ass and doing more of the booking. He does 99.9% of the booking, except for tonight.
Yeah.
We want to get another final girl on at some point this year, 2025. Don't know who yet, but I'll take any of them.
Cool.
I'll take any of them.
Get Corey Feldman on here.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, that would be a very fun interview for me, but I doubt I would talk much with him about Friday the 13th, and it would totally go off into other things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
Corey's insane.
Well, you got to look at the life he's lived in, all the shit he's done, like just in like a year and a half period. He did Friday the 13th, 4, 5, Gremlins, and Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
Like all in one little span. And those are all like legendary movies.
Yeah, the day that I met all the Jasons, living Jasons at that time, I think the coolest one to talk to was probably CJ Graham.
I've heard that.
He was really just so down to earth, just a cool guy, laid back.
This one's ready for him right here for the con coming up.
Nice.
It's a 6 that I made with leather straps and all. So just waiting for him.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. I had that right here. I was just
Tom Morga was nice, but when he kind of looks like a guy that might do some accounting for you. Yeah. Fix your computer.
Right. CJ Graham looks like somebody that could kick some ass for you.
Oh yeah. So it was funny. When I was waiting to meet Ted White, I remember this. There was a little kid in the line in front of me. Little kid. I mean, geez, he had to be like, I don't know, maybe 6, 7. And he drew a picture of Part 4 Jason, Ted White, and he gave it to him. Gave it to Ted White. And I mean, Ted, he was nice about it. He liked it. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'm sure he said something like, "Aren't you a little too young to be watching me in these movies?" But I'll tell you what, for Ted White being as old as he was, that man was freaking huge.
Yeah.
That was a big man.
Rick's told the story on here a couple times where Ted White, even into his 90s, punked Lou Ferrigno at a con.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He punked out the Incredible Hulk at like 93 years old.
I don't even remember how old he was when I met him. I mean, he had to. It was. I want to say.
I believe he was 97 when he passed.
Wow.
So probably about 91, 92 when you met him.
Yeah. I think I met him in I think I met him in 20. I think it was 2018.
He was probably 93 then,
It
94.
was 2018 or 2019. I think is when I
Yeah.
got them signatures.
He was still doing full travel until COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just remember it caught me off guard because you don't think of an old person being as that big.
He
And I
had,
remember him.
I think there was like a nephew he had helped him with the online stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, like he was still like handling his own bookings and everything.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. The one thing I regret now, looking back, but I didn't do it at the time because I mean some of them professional photo ops are just ridiculously priced.
Oh God, that's all.
That same convention, they all did a group photo in costume.
Yeah.
And I kind of kick myself that I didn't do it. I should have just done it.
And I do believe that was the last time Ted White was in costume.
Yeah.
Was that con?
Yeah. So I know like Kane Hodder, CJ Graham, they did the full prosthetic under their mask still. He just put the mask on. He didn't have anything underneath his face. He didn't wear like the hood or anything.
92. Sean Clark was his agent. Okay. That's right. So I know there was something he was adamant about doing himself. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Steve Dash was he always like I mean at least when I met him he's like I'm the real Jason, right? He was always like seemed super bitter about like Warrington Gillette at the end.
Well, a couple weeks from now, our award show is this Thursday. We're doing 2024 Horror Awards this Thursday. We've been posting nominees for it, but the week after that, we're having a director on who made a film called The Once and Future Smash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of based on, loosely, the Warrington Gillette and Steve Dash rivalry about part 2, because it's two old guys that started in a film 40, 50 years ago that debate on who really played the guy.
So, yeah, right.
It's called The Once and Future Smash. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Lance. So you can still play offline bots. So you basically, once the servers go dead, you can only play as Jason.
Mm-hmm.
It's against the computer. So I mean,
it's not
it's not the same. But that's basically all you're going to be able to do now.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube as well. Okay. And I believe the director's name is Sofia Cacciola. It's very Italian sounding. Cacciola. I have to get that pronunciation down. It's usually Rick that gets that wrong. But today it's me. But yeah, man, we've been going an hour, so I'm gonna get off here. It's past 11 and we're Eastern, baby. So but thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
talking about
it.
the memories of this game, man. It's gonna go down. I'll never forget it. Ever.
No.
So
never. No, real quick, you might want to check. I think you have on your YouTube, I think you have the video of the one I was talking about where we knocked the Jason down and he didn't get up. I think you have that.
I'll look for it, and I know it's on my Facebook at least. I know it's there.
That's where it was. It was on Facebook, I think. Yeah.
I'll share it. I'll make it public, and I'll share it on the show page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
I'll do that tonight. Yeah. But that's good for a laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward, like I've said before, I'm looking forward to when you guys finally cover it at some point.
At some point.
Yeah.
There's so much to get to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're getting any of those guys on the show, so. At least not from the modern one, maybe from the 1990 version. So
I would say the 1990 version, the Brandon Crane would probably be the easiest one to get, probably. But who knows?
Hey, man, like I said, we've had Ken Sagos on this show, and to us, that's A-list material.
Yeah.
You're in fucking Dream Warriors, dude. You're a superstar to me.
Right.
And not only other than Freddy Krueger, he was the coolest fucking character in Dream Warriors. All right, brother. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks for everybody for checking us out on a little impromptu show on a Monday night. And Thursday, normal time, 7 p.m., 2024 Horror Awards. Go to the page, comment, like, share the post with the nominees. Tell us your thoughts. So, some of these we pretty much know who's going to win. Others we're still on the fence about it and wait for other outside opinions. But yeah, Thursday night, we'll find out who was the best and worst in horror in 2024. And those are little statuettes that, we wish we really did have, but AI just kind of made those.
Nice. I
So,
like those.
yeah. It's kind of like Rob Dow, St. John, Michigan Jason morphed into an Oscar. Because Rob Dow, St. John, Michigan Jason, has won more awards than anyone in the history of ever. That dude, if he cosplayed and went to the bank just to like deposit a check, he'd get handed a trophy. He's won so many awards.
Right.
So having said that, we're going to get out of here. Thanks to Sean Siffel for joining me tonight. And we'll see everybody on Thursday. And until then, there goes the neighborhood.
What can I do?